What's up everybody? Today I'm going to show you how to tie a Mini Sculpin fly. I really like fishing this fly. It's a lot of fun to fish. It's super effective and it's really easy to make. You can knock these things out in about 10 or 15 minutes once you get the pattern down. There's really nothing to it. This is my variation on this pattern, and I really like fishing this fly on a downstream presentation on sink tip line. It's super tempting to big fish, and let's get going without further ado here. I really like this pattern on the Ahrex TP610 Trout Predator Streamer, size number 2. This hook is designed for large predator trout flies, and super sharp. It's thick wire, and it's got a nice big eyelet, and I usually run that on 12-pound fluorocarbon. I'm not in the habit of losing big fish. If I do get them to eat this fly, I don't want to lose them, so I'm not going to fish this on, like, you know, a 5X or a 4X. I'm going heavy duty fluorocarbon leader here. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this in sand color, and we're going to be using rabbit strips in gold variant today, and we're also going to be using EP chromatic brush, Senyo chromatic 3-inch in pale bronze. I really like that color combo. I love these things. If you've ever seen any of my videos, I really like tying on these with these Senyo chromatic brushes. So we've got our hook in the vise here. I've already cut off about a 1-inch strip of that rabbit fur zonker strip. So I've trimmed it down to about 1 inch of leather. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop our hook out of the vise, and we're going to go ahead and punch that through the leather. We'll put that hook point through the leather to where we've got about 3/4 of that trailing off the back of the hook. So we'll try to get that through the center, and we'll punch it through just like that to where we've got about 3/4 of this leather strip off the back. Okay, now let's go ahead and put that back in the vise. Secure that down, and we'll capture our thread in up at the eyelet. We'll go ahead and wrap that down to about where the bend starts, then come back up a little bit. Then we're going to take this leather and shift it forward to where our hook, where the thread starts. So we'll pull that up. Then we're going to rotate this vise over. If you don't have a rotary vise, that's fine. You can just take the hook out and flip it over. Now we're going to tie off this leather point right there. You want to make sure that that leather is straight. Sometimes it'll roll on the shank, so make sure it's nice and tight and straight before you really clean that up and cinch it down good. There we go. Now I'm going to take my thread back up to the eyelet just to kind of clean that shank up a little bit, and then back down, and then right on that thread dam that we created, we're going to take that Senyo's EP brush. We're going to fashion that in right there. And these things are pretty long, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just cut this in half real quick, just so I'm not hitting my camera. But the technique is still the same here. So I've got half that brush left, and I'm going to go ahead and tie that in right where that thread dam is for the leather. Get that all nice and secure. And I'm going to wrap this thread up to the eye. Okay, now we start to palmer this brush forward. So at each wrap that we do, we're going to stroke those fibers backwards. Okay? We don't want it all jumbled up. This is going to create a nice buggy profile for the sculpin fly. I don't know what these brushes are made from, but man, do I love them. They're really, really fun to work with, super easy. It's got flash already in it, and just love the way they work. They look great. Keep palmering that forward, and we're not going to take it all the way to the eye. We're going to leave a little bit of the shank left exposed, so we don't want to palmer that all the way up to the eye. So I'd say maybe like one wrap shy of the eye. So about right there. We're going to go ahead and tie that off. Give us a little bit of room. And then we're going to trim that excess right there. You're going to have a little bit of tag end left on your wire off of that brush, so you want to clean that up a little bit. I'm just holding that material back with my finger so I can see what I'm doing. Now, we're going to take a comb and we're going to brush all those fibers out and backwards. Looking good. Looking good. So we're just about done with this fly, guys. Like I said, it's super effective on big fish. I recently caught a pretty large rainbow on this exact pattern. She was a hoss. I didn't get a weight measurement on her, but she was 24 inches long with a 16-inch girth, and that's a big fish. So you can't beat that streamer bite either. Those fish just absolutely crushed this thing. We're gonna go ahead and whip finish this off. Okay, and we're gonna leave that thread down. We're not gonna trim it. We're gonna take one of those little Mini Sculpin helmets from Flymen Fish Company, one of these guys here, and we're gonna just push this on to see how it's fitting, if it's fitting nice and tight. If it's not tight when you put it on there, when you slide this on, if it moves around too much, you need to build your thread wraps up a little bit more, but not too much. If you put too much thread on there, then you won't have enough room to push the helmet back over top of everything. So that's feeling pretty snug. So I'm gonna pop this back off, and then we're gonna take our super glue, and we're gonna put a dab on top and then a dab on the bottom. Dab on top, dab on the bottom, and while we're here, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that thread. Then we'll push this helmet over top of those wraps. Okay, just like that. You see how we've got all of the eyelet still exposed? That's what you want. Now, we've got a little bit of glue left right behind that eyelet, so we're going to do a couple of wraps back there behind the eye just to really lock that thing down nice and tight. And then we'll go ahead and do another whip finish right here. And that's it. You are done. That's your fly. And that took less than 10 minutes. There it is. Here's one finished with the eyes. So I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyways, if you like this video, please drop a like and a comment. And hopefully you can get on some big fish with these flies, and let me know how it works out for you. All right, peace.